Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news tonight here on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you the day's top stories. Let's start with the headlines. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley introduces the amended Goods and Services Tax Bill in Lok Sabha for the passage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to intervene in the debate. In the upper house, the opposition members demand an all-party meeting on the crisis in Kashmir. Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad suggests that a delegation should visit the valley to allay fears of the people. Opposition reacts to Prime Minister's impassioned outreach to Dalits, calls it too little too late, while BSP President Mayawati claims that Modi's remarks on the atrocities are just motivated by vote bank policy. And India sees history created on day 3 at Rio Olympics. Deepa Karmakar becomes the only Indian ever to qualify for the finals of the artistic gymnastics. The 22-year-old finishes 8th in the qualification round. We'll get you that story in a bit, but first, days after clearing the Rajya Sabha hurdle, the crucial tax reform GST bill was cleared by Lok Sabha on Monday. The lower house unanimously passed the 122nd Constitution Amendment Bill as amended by Rajya Sabha. All 443 members present in the House voted in favour of the bill. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked all parties for their support. He described GST as a crucial step towards ending tax terrorism, adding that besides reducing corruption and black money, the new regime of indirect taxation will make consumer the king. He also emphasised that the passage of the GST bill is not any party or government's victory, but everybody's victory, as it highlights the success of the democratic ethos of the country.
आज जीएसटी वो एक नया मोती इस माला में हम परो रहे हैं जो एक भारत के भाव को ताकत देता है। ये सिर्फ कर व्यवस्था नहीं है, सब राज्य और केंद्र मिलकर के एक ऐसी व्यवस्था विकसित करे जिसमें छोटा सा छोटा राज्य हो या बड़ा सा बड़ा राज्य हो, सबको ये व्यवस्था अपनी लगे।
There will be a seamless transfer of goods and services throughout the country. The whole country will become one integrated market. Simplification will be easier. और इसकी व्यवस्था जो होगी, उस व्यवस्था में जो लीकेजेस हैं, इवेजन है, वो स्वाभाविक अपने आप कम होगा। राज्य और केंद्र का इन विषय निर्णय लेने में भी और इसको कार्यान्वित करने में भी आपस में एक दूसरे के ऊपर सहयोग बनेगा।
Taxes should be collected in small, not in large proportions.
Right.
And taking all these points into consideration, I think the FM should reconsider some of these aspects.
Right.
And ultimately, it should not at any cost go more than 18%.
Article 119 is a money bill for the states, which talks about consolidated fund of the states. This particular rate that you are going to present to the parliament will be some combination of states and center. So they cannot be independent.
Finance Minister, in the floor of the Rajya Sabha, committed that in respect of full amount of compensation. Sir, I need a clarification through you from the Honorable Finance Minister. What do you want to mean by the full amount of compensation?
The threshold limit for the GST should be fixed on rupees 10 lakh. The Honorable Finance Minister may clarify the stand on this. Finally, Deputy Speaker sir, even at this stage of considering the Rajya Sabha amendments in the House, I request the government to bring further amendments to protect the financial autonomy of the states.
Well, a united opposition, meanwhile, in Rajya Sabha urged the government to convene an all-party meeting on the ongoing unrest in Kashmir. The opposition members demanded a discussion in the House and sought the Prime Minister's response on the issue. Use of pellet guns in the valley also came under scan of the House. The government has expressed readiness to discuss the matter.
Members across the political spectrum on Monday expressed anguish on the ongoing crisis in Kashmir. Raising the issue during 0 hour, Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad said no state in independent India had seen 30 days of curfew in a row. He urged the Prime Minister to call an all-party meet to deliberate on resolution of the crisis. He also suggested that an all-party delegation should visit the valley to allay fears of the people.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की अध्यक्षता में, उनकी सदारत में दिल्ली में ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग करें और उस ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग में हम अपनी सहानुभूति भी, अपनी हमदर्दी भी और कुछ हल निकालने की कोशिश भी करें और उसके बाद फॉलो अप होना चाहिए कि ऑल पार्टी डेलीगेशन कश्मीर जाना चाहिए.
The JDU and the Samajwadi Party also sought an all-party meet. Meanwhile, CPIM Sitaram Yechury questioned the use of pellet guns against protesters in Kashmir, while the CPI's D. Raja demanded withdrawal of the dominating presence of the army from civilian areas.
It's inhuman, it's criminal. Why are we using these pellet guns? I am told that even Israel does not use it against the Palestinians. But in India, we are using it against the Kashmiris. First day we said stop these pellet guns, we were told yes, they'll be stopped, but they have not stopped.
I suggest the government should stop using the pellet guns. Government should withdraw the Armed Forces Special Power Act being implemented in the civilian areas. Government should stop the midnight knocks, dreaded midnight knocks at the doors of civilians.
पूरे देश की तरफ से कोई आदमी बोल सकता तो प्रधानमंत्री है. जो लीडर अपोजिशन जो है गुलाम नबी जी ने कहा, ऐसी शांति और इतना विकट समस्या पर सरकार की तरफ से जो चुप्पी है वो बहुत ही तकलीफ पहुंचाती है.
वहाँ कमेटी एक जरूर जानी चाहिए. राजनाथ जी अकेले गए, अगर यहाँ से कुछ सीनियर मेंबर्स को साथ ले गए होते तो हालात कुछ और होते. वहाँ उनसे कई लोग मिले ही नहीं. अगर हर वर्ग से लोग जाएंगे तो जरूर बात होगी. मैं एक पैलेट गन की मैं भी ये करता हूँ कि हमारे पास और माध्यम है.
The government also reiterated its unflinching commitment to bring peace in the valley and said it was willing to discuss the issue in the House.
कश्मीर के लोगों ने बार बार उन ताकतों को जो ताकतें कि कश्मीर के अमन और शांति को खत्म करना चाहती हैं, नुकसान पहुंचाना चाहती हैं, उनको परास्त किया है, उनको शिकस्त दी है. वैसे हम कश्मीर पर चर्चा कर चुके हैं. ऑनरेबल लीडर ऑफ द हाउस ने उसमें इंटरवीन किया था, होम मिनिस्टर ने उसमें रिप्लाई दी थी, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी हम अगर आप चाहते हैं तो हम उसमें बात करेंगे.
Kashmir has been rocked by violent protests after Hizbul militant Burhan Wani was killed in an encounter on the 8th of July. A youth who was injured during the clashes on Friday died of his injuries on Monday, taking the death toll to 55. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Kashmir has been under curfew for over a month now, while the death toll has climbed to 55 with the death of another youth on Monday, a resident of South Kashmir. The youth was injured during clashes that erupted on Friday. With no resolution in sight, the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti flew to New Delhi to meet Home Minister Rajnath Singh. She said this is the right time for the government to bridge the gap with people by winning their hearts.
तकरीबन 1 महीना हो गया और 50-55 लोग मारे गए. तो मुझे लगता है ये हमारे बच्चे हैं, ये हमारे लोग हैं. तो अगर बातचीत करने से जम्मू कश्मीर के हालात सुधर सकते हैं, जम्मू कश्मीर के हालात ठीक हो सकते हैं, हमारे बच्चे वहाँ स्कूल जा सकते हैं, पढ़ सकते हैं, लिख सकते हैं, एक अच्छा माहौल बन सकता है. और जम्मू कश्मीर दोनों मुल्क, जो हमारा मुल्क हिंदुस्तान और पाकिस्तान के बीच में एक पुल की शक्ल बन सकता है, बजाय कि जो झगड़े का बायस बना है. मैं समझती हूँ ये जरूरी है.
The separatist camp, meanwhile, has extended the shutdown call in Kashmir till the 12th of August and asked people to block all roads around government offices to ensure that no employee is able to join duty. Kashmir has been rocked by violent protests since the death of Hizbul commander Burhan Wani last month. Wani was killed in an encounter with security forces in Anantnag district on the 8th of July. Now, all eyes, of course, on whether the Prime Minister does speak on Kashmir. However, his remarks on the latest incidents of atrocities against Dalits left the opposition parties unimpressed. Questioning the Prime Minister's long silence on the issue, members of the BSP, Samajwadi Party and the Congress said that it was only because of the imminent elections in Uttar Pradesh and other states that had prompted the Prime Minister to make these statements.
The Prime Minister's impassioned outreach to Dalits triggered a spate of reactions from the opposition. On Sunday, the Prime Minister, while addressing a Mahasammelan of the party at the Lal Bahadur Stadium in Hyderabad, sternly told BJP polling booth workers that they can't play politics over Dalits. A day later, opposition parties said his remarks were coming a little too late in the day.
दलितों को अपने उत्पीड़न के मामले में तो केंद्र की सरकार से, बीजेपी से और खासकर प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी से इनको कोई इस मामले में इनको सहानुभूति नहीं चाहिए, इनकी सहानुभूति नहीं चाहिए, बल्कि इनको जिन लोगों ने इनके साथ जुल्म जाति की है उनके खिलाफ सख्त कानूनी कार्रवाई चाहिए।
हम ये चाहते थे कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर आके स्टेटमेंट करें, क्योंकि वो सदन के बाहर बहुत बोलते हैं, सदन के अंदर वही बातें बोल सकते थे, ताकि हमको भी क्लैरिफिकेशन के लिए टाइम मिलता है। उनके भाषण का वो क्या कहना चाहते थे वो हाउस में रिकॉर्ड भी होता है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी का केवल नौटंकी है। ये बयान किसी भी देश के प्रधानमंत्री के दिया हुआ बयान एक असहायता ये परिलक्षित इससे होती है।
BJP leaders and party allies says that instead of politicizing the Prime Minister's reaction, the opposition should appreciate his efforts.
अपोजिशन वाले राजनीति करते हैं। मैंने बहुत बार बोला है कि दलित अत्याचार को लेकर राजनीति ना हो, समाज नीति होनी चाहिए। और सरकार कौन सी है इसके लिए अत्याचार होता नहीं है, कोई सरकार अत्याचार करने के लिए बोलती नहीं है। दलितों के ऊपर के अत्याचार का सिलसिला सदियों से चल रहा है और उसका कारण यह है कि आज भी गांव-गांव में जातिवाद पनप रहा है और उसका कभी कभी स्फोट होता है और दलित पर अत्याचार का कारण कास्टिज्म है। उसको खत्म करने के लिए सब पार्टियों ने कोशिश करनी चाहिए।
On Sunday, Prime Minister Modi said he was asking state governments to prepare self-proclaimed Gaurakshaks who were, according to him, running shops in the name of crop protection.
मेरे दलित भाइयों पर वार करना बंद कर दीजिए। वार करना है तो मुझ पे कीजिए, गोली चलानी है तो मुझ पे चलाइए, मेरे दलित भाइयों पर मत चलाइए। जो लोग इस सामाजिक समस्या का समाधान चाहते हैं उनसे मेरी करबद्ध प्रार्थना है कि समाज में बिखराव पैदा करने वाली राजनीति का रास्ता छोड़ दे। समाज को तोड़ने वाली राजनीति से देश का भला नहीं होगा।
The Prime Minister's remarks drew reactions from the RSS as well, as the organization sought speedy action against those responsible for attacks on Dalits.
राज्य सरकारों को इन सब पर कठोर से कठोर कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए जो दलित समाज को हिंसा के आधार पर प्रताड़ित करते हैं। मानसिक प्रताड़ना या शारीरिक प्रताड़ना देने वालों पर राज्य और समाज दोनों ही सक्रिय हो।
On Monday, a day after the Prime Minister's remarks, the Punjab police booked a local Gaurakshak Dal chief for allegedly assaulting some persons on the pretext of cow protection. An FIR was lodged on the basis of a video clip that appeared on social media showing members beating up some people. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
An FIR has been filed in the Kokrajhar attack case. A compensation of 5 lakh rupees has been announced to the families of those killed. Lok Sabha was informed of this by Home Minister Rajnath Singh as he made a statement on the issue. The Congress party walked out of the House demanding the Prime Minister's statement on it.
Investigations are underway to identify the militants responsible for killing 14 people in a crowded marketplace of Kokrajhar. Home Minister Rajnath Singh said this while making a statement about the attack in Lok Sabha.
मैंने असम सरकार तथा राज्य में सुरक्षा बलों से इस हमले में शामिल उग्रवादियों को पकड़ने और मानवता के विरुद्ध इस अपराध के लिए उन्हें उचित दंड दिलाने के लिए आवश्यक निर्देश दिए हैं।
The issue was also raised during Zero Hour.
महिलाएं, बच्चे, जो लोग अपनी आम जिंदगी गुजार रहे थे, उन पे इन उग्रपंथी ने एक कायरतापूर्वक एक हमला किया और इस कायरतापूर्वक हमलों का हम जोर से निंदा करते हैं।
কম্পেনসেশনৰ পৰিমাণটো 10 লাখ আৰু 5 লাখলৈকে বৃদ্ধি কৰাৰ কাৰণে আৰু দ্বিতীয়তে এই গোটেই ঘটনাটো ন্যায়ৰ জৰিয়তে তদন্ত কৰাৰ কাৰণতে আৰু যিখিনি কোম্পানী তাৰ পৰা উদ্যোগ কৰা হৈছিল চেন্ট্ৰেল গভৰ্ণমেণ্টৰ পুনৰ সেইবিলাক ডিপ্লয় কৰাৰ কাৰণে মই দাবী জনাইছো।
Earlier, as soon as the House assembled for the day, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan read out a brief statement describing the actions of the perpetrators as an act of cowardice. The House also stood in silence for a while as a mark of respect for the departed.
असम के कोकराझार जिले में 5 अगस्त 2016 को एक उग्रवादी हमले में 14 लोगों के मारे जाने और कई व्यक्तियों के घायल होने की सूचना है। यह सभा
इस कायरतापूर्ण हमले की कड़ी निंदा करती है।
The attack in Kokrajhar on August 5th is the worst terror attack in Assam since 2014. Authorities believe that the anti-talks faction of the NDFB is behind the massacre. With inputs from Pranav Goswami and Ravindra Shoran, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, concerns were raised in Rajya Sabha on Monday on the 39 Indians kidnapped by the Islamic State in Iraq. Pratap Singh Bajwa of the Congress said that 2 years on, no word is still there on the 39 Indians that have been heard. Several other issues of public importance were also raised during Zero Hour.
Raising the issue during Zero Hour, Congress's Pratap Singh Bajwa demanded that the government spell out concrete steps to liberate the Indians who were in the clutches of the Islamic State. The 39 Indians were part of a group of South Asian workers who were kidnapped in the second week of June 2014 from a construction site in Mosul. Even Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian voiced anguish on the issue.
All parliamentary delegations इराक में भेजना चाहिए, ग्राउंड रियलिटीज वहां जाकर इराकी एम्बेसीज उनकी अथॉरिटीज को मिले, या तो उनको जिंदा जो है उनको वापस लेकर आए, अगर नहीं तो कम से कम उनके पेरेंट्स को आकर फैमिलीज को बता दें कि लोग जिंदा नहीं।
Whatever information you have on this subject, whatever information you kindly pass on to the government, to the ministers, and kindly pass on to the government. I would request Naqvi ji to take up the matter with External Affairs Minister.
Okay.
She should contact with the embassy there. And it's a genuine concern.
In another zero-hour submission, nominated member Subramaniam Swamy made a case for day-to-day hearing in the Supreme Court on the Ayodhya dispute and also sought discussion on the matter in the Rajya Sabha.
A problem on which there is almost now a consensus, but this has to be done through the courts. It can't be done across parties. Therefore, I would urge the Deputy Chairman, sir, that this matter should be discussed threadbare in the House.
Meanwhile, Pramod Tiwari of the Congress raised the issue of the alleged death of about 1,000 cows at a Rajasthan government-run cattle shelter near Jaipur and sought action against the state government by the Prime Minister.
मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी की मदद करना चाहता हूँ। वो फर्जी गौरक्षक ढूंढ रहे हैं, मैं सीधे सीधे गौ माता के कातिलों का पता बता रहा हूँ उनको, क्यों नहीं वो राजस्थान सरकार के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करते।
Cancellation of ration cards in Chhattisgarh, steps to deal with the menace of pornography and demands to increase the MSP of crops were other issues that found mention during Zero Hour. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And staying with more Rajya Sabha proceedings, the government plans to spend 43,500 crore rupees on Manrega during the current fiscal. Minister of State for Rural Development, Ram Kripal Yadav, assured the House on Monday that there was no shortage of funds for the Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and the program would not be discontinued by the NDA government.
The government stressed in the Rajya Sabha on Monday that it brought transparency in the rural job scheme that saw the highest utilization of funds during 2014-15. Responding to supplementary questions, Minister of State Ram Kripal Yadav insisted that workers now get wages within 15 days in many parts of the country due to the integration with direct benefits transfer mechanism.
ये बात बिल्कुल मैं स्वीकारता हूं कि 4 महीना, 5 महीना, 6 महीना मजदूरों के भुगतान में जो देर हुआ करता था, इसीलिए इसको सीधा मजदूरों तक जाए, उसके खाते में जाए। डीबीटी का प्रयोग जब से हुआ है, 15 दिन के अंदर राशि मजदूरों को मिल जा रही है।
Responding to another query, Power Minister Piyush Goyal emphasized that the demand for power can be met even if it increases by 50% in the next 5 to 7 years.
And based on the new UMPPs and large projects that several states are also initiating, we are very confident that for the next 5, 7, 10 years, we have covered the country well and its potential demand well, so that there will never be a shortage in this country.
Thank you. Replying to another supplementary, Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari highlighted initiatives to develop inland waterways.
111 रिवर्स को हमने वाटरवेज में कन्वर्ट किया है। उसमें से जो गंगा वाटरवेज है, ये 1620 किलोमीटर का है। इसमें 5 मल्टी मॉडल हब बन रहे हैं, रोरो सर्विसेज भी 3 जगह बन रही है और 20 वाटर पोर्ट्स बन रहे हैं।
Questions were also raised on green energy corridors in Andhra Pradesh and approval for effluent treatment plants in Rajasthan. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you through more updates from across the country in Nationwide. Kerala Congress severed its three-decade-old ties with the UDF in Kerala today. Party Supremo and former Finance Minister K. M. Mani cited attempts by a section of the Congress leadership to malign the party and its leaders as a major reason for its decision. However, the Congress and its other allies in the UDF indicated this was not a convincing reason for quitting the coalition. Kerala Congress M is the third largest ally of the Congress in the state and has 6 legislators. The Uttar Pradesh police arrested a manager of a school in Allahabad today who refused to allow the recital of the national anthem on Independence Day. Authorities began proceedings for sealing the school, which was allegedly running illegally, and stepped up security due to tension in the area. A magisterial inquiry has been ordered into the case. The manager defended the move, claiming that the phrase Bharat Bhagya Vidhata in the national anthem violated the basic tenets of Islam. Former BSP leader Swami Prasad Maurya today joined the BJP after making a series of allegations against the BSP chief Mayawati on selling party tickets for pecuniary considerations. Maurya is an MLA from Padrauna in Kushinagar district of Uttar Pradesh. With that, a quick break here. Up next, we got you all the action from Rio in just a bit. Stay with us.
Saina Nehwal, the first Indian to win a medal in badminton at the Olympics. The world number 2 ranked player is also the first Indian to win the World Junior Badminton Championships and the first Indian to win a Super Series tournament. Saina Nehwal in fact completed a hat-trick Super Series titles in 2010. That same year, she became the first Indian singles player to reach the final of the year-ending Super Series finals, defeating 2-time All-England champion and former world number 1 Tine Bown in the semis.
Welcome back. Let's get you now all the action coming in from the Olympics. And it was a day for heartbreak for India at Rio as shooter Abhinav Bindra missed out on a medal in the men's 10 meters air rifle, and men's hockey team also lost to Germany in the final 5 seconds. Starting with Bindra, who of course finished at 7th place in the qualification round. He remained in the medal contention throughout the final and was tied at the 3rd place for the bronze. However, the Beijing Olympic gold medalist hit 10 in the shootout, while his Ukrainian opponent scored 10.5 to take the 3rd place. In another heartbreak, Indian men's hockey team lost 1-2 to defending champions Germany. India came from behind in the 3rd quarter to level the match through Rupinder Pal Singh, who scored his 3rd goal of the tournament. The game appeared to be heading for a tie, but Germany scored just 5 seconds before the end to snatch a win. India have now won 1 and lost 1 match in Group B. But the heartbreak aside, India also saw history being created by 22-year-old Deepa Karmakar, who became the only Indian ever to qualify for the finals of the artistic gymnastics. Deepa made the cut for the individual vault finals after finishing 8th in the qualifying round. Meanwhile, records continued to tumble in the swimming arena. Here's a report.
Another day without a medal for India at the Rio Olympics. But day 3 still turned out to be quite historic, when Deepa Karmakar became the only Indian ever to qualify for the finals of artistic gymnastics. The 22-year-old made the cut for the individual vault finals after finishing 8th in the qualification round. The Tripura girl, who is also India's first woman gymnast to qualify for the Olympics, performed her much-appreciated Prodhanova vault cleanly to secure 14.850 points after 2 attempts. She will now be seen in the finals on Sunday evening.
इतना खुश लग रहा है और आपको बोल के मैं नहीं बता सकता, क्योंकि देखिए ये इसका जो एक एम था ओलंपिक में जाना, वो तो गया, क्वालिफाई करना, क्वालिफाई भी कर लिया, लेकिन अभी उसका पास एक ही अभी सबका ये एक मेडल लेके आओ वहाँ से.
Apart from Deepa, it was a mixed day for India. The women's hockey team put up a tremendous fight back to return from 2 goals down to force a 2-2 draw against Japan in their opening Pool B match.
Through to the semi-finals.
The Indian women's recurve archery team, however, was knocked out of the tournament after going down 4-5 to Russia in the quarterfinals. The tie was evenly poised after the 4 sets at 4-4, but India lost 23-25 in the shoot-off.
Russia have a 1-point advantage.
The Indian shooters' unimpressive run continued with Hina Sidhu crashing out of the women's 10 meters air pistol qualification round by finishing 14th. Hina will now try to make amends when she competes in the 25 meters pistol event slated to be held on the 9th of August. Meanwhile, records continue to tumble in the swimming arena. Britain's Adam Peaty broke the men's 100-meter breaststroke record, giving Britain their first gold of the tournament. In the women's event, Sweden's Sara Jo Storm continued her winning spree with a new record time in the 100 meters butterfly, while United States' Katie Ledecky broke her own record in the women's 400 meters freestyle.
It's surreal. It's incredible. I can't actually believe it's happened. I'm gonna have to slap myself, I think, a few times. But yeah, I mean, all that hard work's actually paid off now. And
Michael Phelps won a record 19th Olympic gold medal as the United States clinched the men's 4 x 100 meters freestyle relay title in Rio. Phelps has now won 23 medals at 5 games. In tennis, the US pair of Serena and Venus Williams lost for the first time in an Olympics doubles match, ending their hopes of winning a 4th title in a row. World number 1 Novak Djokovic also crashed out in the first round of the men's singles event, losing to Argentina's Juan Martí del Potro 7-6, 7-6 in straight sets.
Another one.
After day 3, the United States leads the medal tally with 3 golds, 5 silvers and 4 bronze. China and Australia are at 2nd and 3rd with 3 golds each. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now some international news, and at least 70 people were killed and over 100 wounded in a suicide bombing inside a civil hospital in Pakistan's southwestern city of Quetta. Emergency was declared across hospitals in the region. Condemning the attack, Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif said no one will be allowed to disturb peace in the province.
A suicide attack at the emergency department of a government-run hospital in Quetta in southwest Pakistan killed more than 70 people on Monday. Dozens of people were injured in the attack. Police said unknown men also opened fire after the blast. The attack took place at the entrance to the emergency department of a civil hospital where mourners gathered to pay their respect to Bilal Anwar Kasi, a prominent lawyer who was shot and killed in the city earlier. The casualties mostly included lawyers and journalists accompanying the body.
मैं भी अपने ऑफिस से ड्यूटी के लिए आ रहा था कि मैं जैसे ही अपने गेट पे पहुंचा तो वहाँ से धमाका हुआ और सब लोग जो थे उसी साइड पे भाग आ रहे थे। जैसे मैं एंटर हुआ बाइक को उधर ही छोड़ दिया मैंने, भाग के आया तो यहाँ पे लाशें ही लाशें थे, खून बिखरे हुए थे और जख्मी थे, खून में लथपथ लोग थे।
The blast came hours after unidentified gunman shot dead President of Balochistan Bar Association advocate Bilal Anwar Kasi in Quetta. Police cordoned off the hospital following the blast, restricting access to the area. Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has condemned the attack. He also met some of those wounded at the Quetta Civil Hospital. Chief Minister of Balochistan Sanaullah Zahri said those injured should be given the best medical treatment and facilities available. Meanwhile, Pakistani Taliban faction has claimed responsibility for the suicide attack. There have been a number of targeted killings in Quetta linked to a separatist insurgency as well as sectarian tension and crime. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here's a look at some more international news updates in Global Buzz. Iran executed a nuclear scientist who was convicted of spying for the US. Shahram Amiri, the scientist, was detained in 2010 when he returned from the US. A court sentenced him to death and the decision was upheld by Iran's Supreme Court. The intense rainfall in Mexico that triggered mudslides left at least 18 people dead over the weekend. Saturated hillsides are collapsing onto homes in the wake of tropical storm Earl. The death toll could still increase, what authorities say. More than 200 people have been affected by damage to homes. A group of South Korean opposition lawmakers defied President Park Geun-hye and left for China today. The MPs left to discuss the deployment of a US anti-missile system that has opened a damaging rift between Seoul and Beijing. The president criticized the move, urging them to scrap their trip, arguing that it could boost China's opposition to the THAAD system and deepen divisions in South Korea over the issue. that's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.